Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. We're going to be in the Labyrinth, the fantasy trip for this video. This is a continuation of the combat video. In this video, we are going to talk about fire as a weapon. And it is a good choice if you have a campfire or a torch. So, this is going to be longer than some of my combat videos. Most of them have been a couple minutes. There's a good bit of text to read here, so just bear with me and let's figure out how fire as a weapon works in the Labyrinth. Fire can be a very effective weapon. There are two major ways to use it: torches and molotels. Molotels are what they would call their alchemist fire if you're from D&D tradition, or just oil that you would throw and light. Wizards can also create sorceress fire. Against most foes, a torch is a rather weak weapon. It only does 1d6 minus 2 damage. However, against a foe that is especially vulnerable to fire, example is a green slime, a water elemental, etc., it does double damage. Torches are impregnated with resin. They will not go out if dropped, though they will go out if broken in combat. That is a roll of 18. When you hit with the torch, an intentionally dropped torch will not go out. So unlike, say, the D&D and Pathfinder rolls, if you drop a torch, there's a chance it goes out. This one does not. A torch may be tied to the end of a long pole and used like a pole weapon. It still does the same damage as a torch does and does not get double damage on or against a charge. It is just longer. An ordinary animal attack with a torch will fight at a -2 dex due to fear of the flame and will not initiate hand-to-hand combat. A molotel, or Molotov cocktail, is a fragile flask filled with a very flammable, sticky oil. Several can be carried on your belt. It takes one turn to ready, that is, grab and light the molotel. You must have a torch in the other hand. On the next turn, you may throw it. Of course, if you are knocked down while holding a lit molotel, you must make a saving roll, 3 dice versus dex, to toss it away. Otherwise, it immediately goes off in your hex. A molotel can also break if you fall while carrying it. See gas bombs below. And I'll do a separate video for gas bombs. The range adjustment for dex on throwing molotels and similar items is -1 for every megahex distance from you to the target. If your target is 3 megahexes away, your dex is -3. And what a megahex is 1 hex surrounded by hexes. So if you were going through a megahex, you're going through 3 hexes in any direction. So that is 15 feet in D&D terms, in normal game terms. So for every 15 feet, you get a -1 dex. If you miss your dex roll, the molotel falls in another hex. The amount it misses by is the number of hexes by which you miss your roll. If your adjusted dex for the throw was 11 and you rolled a 14, you missed by 3 hexes. The direction is determined by rolling a die as per the diagram below. If a straight line between the figure and the hex where the molotel would hit intersects a wall, the molotel hits that wall instead. If it merely intersects a figure, it is assumed to pass over that figure. 1 is straight ahead north, 2 is northeast, 3 southeast, 4 south, 5 southwest, 6 is northwest. Because it's hexes, it doesn't need any more than that. On a roll of a 17 or 18, the molotel explodes in the hand of the thrower. Otherwise, it explodes immediately in the hex where it lands. When a molotel explodes, it puts 2 hits, so 2 damage, on every figure in an adjacent hex, and 4 hits, or 4 damage, on every figure in its own hex. So if the hex that it goes off in, they take 4 damage, and then all the surrounding hexes take 2 damage. Animals will not pass through this flame. When a molotel explodes in a hex with a figure, he must make a saving roll, 4d6, against his dex. to avoid being soaked with the burning oil. If he fails the saving roll, he is on fire. His armor will protect him for 1 turn. After that, he takes 4 damage per turn for 11 turns, or until the fire is extinguished. For instance, by diving underwater, by a magic rainstorm, etc. Armor does protect against other hits from fire, walking through flames. So it does protect against damage from fire, like when you walk through flames. It does not protect you when you are actually soaked with the flaming oil. Aimed throws. The above rules for throwing flasks assumes that you are making a hurried throw under combat conditions. If you have time to aim and gauge your throw, you can improve your accuracy. Add 1 to your adjusted dex for each turn up to 3 that you spend aiming. If you are hit or affected by an enemy spell during this time, you get no dex bonus. So if you have time and you're not rushing in combat, so say the beginning of an ambush or the beginning of a fight, but you have time before it begins, say your throw starts the fight, if you get up to 3 turns, you can increase your dex score by 3 points for that attack. That's pretty cool. So that's fire as a weapon and Molotovs. So now we know how all that is used. If you enjoyed that, remember that fire is always a useful weapon in any fantasy tabletop RPG, especially D&D and Pathfinder. As you get away from low levels in those games, you forget about the fact that fire can be very useful. If you found this useful, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully this inspired you to use more oil and fire in other games as well. Until we all game again, guys.